Welcome to the Palo Santo and Thoughts podcast. As I light the Palo Santo, let us reset the space, allowing new energy and new thoughts to enter. What was does not automatically become what is, and even if it does, it does not mean it always will. Let us release what we must to receive what we must. It is mine. It is yours. What is for us will always be Ashe. Welcome back. What's up to the old homies? What's up to the new homies? I'm Carter, and this is the Palo Santo and Thoughts podcast. Today, I'm joined with another homie, Alex. Alex is from Queens. He's an artist, a cinematographer, and also a TV producer. Alex, I really appreciate you pulling up, man.
What's going on?
Hey, man. So, is there anything that you want to share with the homies?
Just happy to share the space, share the light. We met out on a hike, just getting our feng shui on and just relaxing. It was great to share community in front of amazing views, and I think that just allowed this to happen. We were just trying to see how we could connect or whatever, so it was great to find a way to connect and keep the relationship going.
No, for sure. Yeah, I really appreciate you pulling up, man, and I'm excited to have this conversation about love. I feel like, season one, pretty much I was having conversations with really myself. I was talking to myself, honestly, now, And in season two, I had a chance to actually, invite different homies into the space to talk about love. And so it's been really cool to just have a chance to hear more and learn more about people in that way, because I do think that through these conversations we get to learn more about each other. So yeah, just really excited. I'm excited for you all as the homies to get a chance to witness this. Something that I'm like, every time we start the podcast, I love for us to just kind of do a grace check-in. And the reason why I love doing grace, starting with grace, is because this is like an opportunity to just, just slow down, check in with self, and just think about how we've been showing grace to ourselves. And so what I want to ask you is, the first question is like, how have you been showing grace to yourself this week?
I've been saying yes to things, and showing grace to myself by saying yes to things is allowing myself to not block myself off from opportunities, whether it's relationships, connections, or just general conversation. So just saying yes to things, and the things that I can't say yes to, knowing that it's past my capacity. That's what I'm giving grace to. Like, I think a lot of times we burden ourselves with the problems that we create.
Oof, man. All right, okay. We do burden ourselves with the problems we create.
We do.
I would say for me, how I've been showing grace to myself is just like, making sure that I find time for the things that really bring me joy. I feel like, this week and weekend has been like a lot of moving and grooving, but still finding times to center movement. So just like exercising, or it really actually just movement and exercising. I think that has really allowed for me to just kind of feel grace, because it's like it can be easy to deprioritize certain things. So that's the way in which I've been showing grace to myself, is just honoring the things that make me feel good. And then this week has been movement. So to you all as the homies, what's one way that you've been showing grace to yourself this week? And maybe, I always say, like, there's always an opportunity for us to show more grace to ourselves. And so, even if in the midst of it, you're like, maybe I could show a little bit more grace, it's probably gonna always be that. But shout out to you for doing that. Shout out to us for doing that. And, continue to think about what it looks like for this upcoming week. Okay, cool. So now we got a chance to talk about grace. I wanted to, as we enter into, or we move into the direction of getting into the conversation, I also love to just set intentions of what are the intentions that we want to set for this space. So I would actually what is one intention that you have for this space?
Just to be more open, maybe open in my mindset. I know we had a prior conversation off camera about being open to being comfortable in front of others, what I mean? So just maybe being more open, maybe that should be my intention, transparency.
I love that. Yeah. I'll actually lean into that with you. Being open and transparent. So that's the intention. And all right, cool. And so now it's time for my favorite part. You know, I know the homies know what's about to happen. You know what I'm reaching for, y'all. Reaching for the Palo Santo stick. Mm-hmm. And so, as I mentioned, you know, whenever I light the Palo Santo stick, I have this jingle. And you're more than welcome to join. But also, you know, you can just find, you know, just you know what I mean? You know, all right. And so, pretty much it goes, the Palo Santo stick is lit, lit, lit. Hey, the Palo Santo stick is lit, lit, lit. Hey, the Palo Santo stick is lit, lit, lit. Hey, the Palo Santo stick is lit. Is lit.
You got that copywritten?
Hey man, not yet.
Okay.
Man, not yet. But it's, you know, hey look, everyone knows about it, okay? You know where you heard that from,
That's
right?
how they get you.
You know, everyone knows where they heard it from first, man.
Get your IP.
Hey man. All right, y'all. So we have lit the Palo Santo stick. Do 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 do. Oh, you smell it? Mm-hmm. All right. It's a game changer. All right, y'all. So now that we've light the Palo Santo stick, it's time to get into these thoughts. So, for those who might be new homies, the Palo Santo Thoughts podcast, season 1, we were talking about All About Love, New Visions by Bell Hooks. And so in season 2, we still bring the book in our conversations of love. And so one of the questions I love to, you know, bring to all of the homies that are on the podcast is, so in the first chapter, Bell Hooks talks about seeing this graffiti work, and it said, the search for love continues even in the face of great odds. I'll say it again. The search for love continues even in the face of great odds. And so what I would love to hear from you is, why do you believe the search for love must continue even in the face of great odds?
See, I might be an unorthodox person to ask that too. Why do I think that? I think love has duality, and love has the power to let you down. And within that duality, I'm sure you've been through a heartbreak before, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's the thing. You went through a heartbreak because it also made your heart warm. You felt the nothingness of it not being there. So that's the duality of it. Like, just as much as love can fill a space, it can empty it out. Right? So it's important to understand that always, that there might be many loves that fill you up and empty you out. So knowing that, are you willing to go through it over and over again? Somebody told me that love, and I really thought about it recently, because I went through a major heartbreak, I'd say, being transparent.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And they said being in love or looking for love or being ready for love is being ready to get your heart broken. That's when you know that you're ready to go. Are you ready to get your heart broken? Because there's always the possibility that this love you built can break. So being ready for love is being ready for the possibility of you getting your heart broken.
You know, when you said that, it made me think about, like, kind of preparing for the possibility of it ending. And with that, it made me think about grief. You know, and in the sense where it's like, you know, when we have these relationships that we love, and I think sometimes we even think about grief as like when someone only when someone passes away. But when a relationship completes, or even when a relationship changes drastically, you know, there is like some grieving that happens because it is no longer what it used to be, and it looks different. And so yeah, when you said that, that's what kind of came to my mind about just like kind of being open to knowing that when you love someone, that not to prepare, but just be mindful of the possibility that this can end. But I guess I have a follow-up question. With that preparation, how do you feel like that changes anything within how you move within relationships?
I don't think I'm in the relationship space right now. I think the only relationship I'm building right now is myself. And I don't think I'm ready for heartbreak. You know, like I said, I might be the unorthodox person to answer that question for. Like, am I looking to have connections with people? Yeah. And is that selfish on myself? Probably. Am I looking to get my heart broken? Nah, not right now. I don't got the capacity for that.
When you said this a couple times, I'm like, I'm like curious. Why do you say that you're the unorthodox person to ask about that?
Right now, I'm just so focused on myself, like, in terms of elevating as a person. I gotta put my gas mask on first. You know, when you on a plane, and I'm not trying to sound so super deep or whatever, but when you on a plane, I said this last week, it's on my IG. I was like, when you get on a plane and everything is going bad, what do they tell you?
Put your face mask.
Put your mask on first. Before I can help anybody else and get in this relationship and be in love and do all of this, I gotta be okay first.
Absolutely.
And I have to still get my mask on first before I bring anybody else on this ride to elevate. So yeah, like I'm not ready for those spaces.
You know, honestly, it's dope that you're aware of that and you're honoring that. So I think that it can be easy to be like, nah, I want to get back in a relationship. You know what I mean? Kind of, because, and I think even for myself, I feel like I feel like I'm still on a similar journey as well, where it's like, you know, acknowledging that I want to focus on pouring more into myself. And by doing that, I think that just expands my capacity more and more to be able. And also something else that I've been like, it's been coming up in the podcast episodes. It's like, even though I might not necessarily be pouring into romantic relationships, I'm still pouring into family relationships. I'm still pouring into friendship relationships. And so that love, the love practice and the love that I'm giving and also receiving is still something that I am able to like experience. So yeah, it made me think, but yeah, I agree that it's, I don't know, I just relate to that, taking time to just honor what you need, pour into yourself.
You know what's crazy? I think I try to be super intentional even when I'm meeting people or I'm talking to somebody. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the comfort of being around a beautiful woman. I think we all do. Like, for me personally, I like to surround myself with women. I do better in rooms of women in terms of work, in terms of conversations, in terms of just anything. I have my guy friends and my brothers and everything, but there's something about having connections with women that foster environments for you to better yourself. And I do think it's been a little problematic, and you know, I don't really talk about this. Problematic in the sense of leading with intentionality of saying like, I'm not ready for love right now, and you're still dating. And they're ready for love, and they think that they can change your mindset and your course right now. Even though you went in there, you told them, hey, I'm not ready for this. And she's laughing, right? But I've been dealing with that a lot. Like saying what you have the capacity for. But am I selfish? I know, you know, I'm not supposed to. Am I selfish in my needs of wanting to do everything relationship wise, but when it gets closer, I'm about to have that feeling. I'm like, let me take a step back. You know, is that on my part? Because I led with the capacity I could have.
So I mean, because I think that's what I thought about too, right? Where it's like, you know, we can say like, hey, all right, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm open to dating. But what I think it's also important to define what dating is. And then also within that, I think it's also important to like check our own actions, right? Because like sometimes we'll be like, oh, I don't want no relationship. But then we doing relationship shit. And it's like, it's confusing. It's messy. And it's just like, and then when, you know, the other person is like, oh yeah, like I wanted to. You're like, whoa, wait a minute, but
Wilding
also,
out.
so I think that it's like the opportunity for whoever, right, is to really think about like, is my words matching my actions?
You know what's the crazy thing? I've had a lot of great women in my life that were, I think, at the moment, perfect women for me to be with. Like, I think it was always me. It was always me. And not a toxicity way. In the way of, I have this obsession with, like, not giving up my freedom. Like, and it might stem from, I was in a relationship a while ago, but it might stem from never wanting to be in the feeling of having to have to check in for my moves. Like I said, I like to be able to just be like, yeah, I'm good, and not have to ask anybody about anything. I like that aspect of having full control of my life. Now, I'm not the type of guy where it's like, you do this. I say go cook on the stove, go do this. So I understand that also you have your own life and guidance. Now we're having that conversation in duality. I'm losing a little piece of my freedom. And maybe that's what I battle with a lot too. Yeah, but
Do you feel like in the spaces, because I hear you with that, right? Like I think that's also something I think about too, is like, I love traveling. I love to move at my own pace. I feel like, over the years, because even just like, living solo, right? Like I'm just like used to just doing things my way at my time. And it's just like, and also I think about, how relationships change us, and not to necessarily say that it has to change us in a bad way, but, it's also the, the openness of like being a new version of who we are. Cause I do think we're constantly changing, we're constantly evolving, and also understanding like what that person needs in order for you to exist. Cause I also think there's like aspect of us where we're like, all right, these are my non-negotiable things. It's like, I need this to like feel like me, but then also, understanding the things that you're like, I could change a little bit more. And then having that conversation. And also I'm like, those are the conversations that also happen earlier, because then it becomes a thing of like, at least y'all both know what it is. And I think that that's the piece that, I've been leaning more into with just like getting to know someone is just like transparency. And honestly, I feel like sometimes I'm just like, cause I'll be, like, trying to holler, and I'm just like, I'm just keeping it chill right now, and I just don't go down that path because I know that, like right now I don't have the capacity for anything beyond, a certain, and so I just don't even, I just like, I don't even want to do that because I know where it would go. And I just try to be a little bit more mindful of that, so it's tough though. It's definitely tough.
do you think that's a cop out that we use? Like, I don't got the capacity right now because we got the capacity to do everything else. Do you think that's just a cop out to like keep the game going?
Well, it depends on what game you're talking about.
The game.
There's a lot of games now.
The game, to keep the game going. Like, maybe I just don't want to put the jersey in the rafters. And look, we just getting real right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's okay though.
And that's not, saying I just want to be this like super player or anything. I'm getting older now.
Yeah.
I'm getting older now. And I do love having somebody there, to be honest with you. Like, there's nothing like having somebody there, but there's nothing like having somebody not there. Does that make sense? And that's what's wrong with me at this moment. Like, I want you there when you're there, but I love being by myself. And that's the problem. I've had people that were perfect for me, perfect. But then there was moments where it was like, oh shit, you're still here. And I need to learn how to deal with that. Like, maybe I grew up a lot by myself, like spending just so much time by myself. And I don't want to sacrifice that time by myself. It's scary, bro. It's scary. It's scary. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
33.
Statistically, you already dodged your first divorce. So It's Googleable. It's Googleable, yeah.
That's funny.
We came here to talk.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's Googleable. And statistically, we're not aiming for that.
Yeah.
But statistically, you just dodged your first divorce.
Okay, so
Yeah.
no, because I hear you. Because I want to talk about both of those things. All right, so the first one I think is like in honoring like the aspect of like enjoying like solitude, right? Do you feel like that's something that you can communicate to someone and say like, yo, like this is something I really need in order for like a long-term sustainable relationship? And is this something that we can like, is this something that's cool? Like, are you cool with this?
I think it's 100% able to be communicated, and I've communicated it before. And I think there were people that I've met that were actually very similar. They needed their own time. I had one person that like just it almost feels like suffocating. You ever feel that way? Like you love them too. You want to be around them, but it's like, yo, you're not doing anything wrong, but I feel suffocated. I don't know. Like, can I communicate it? Yeah. I don't know. Like, I can't even articulate it. I feel suffocated, not being able to do whatever I want to do. Like, I'm just so free flowing. Oh, today let's go skydiving with no backpacks on. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But you can't make irrational decisions when your destiny is not just you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can't be selfish enough to just say, oh, you need to come with me. They might have a whole nother plan for their day. And now I'm negotiating with someone else about my happiness of what I want to do.
I hear that. And I think that is the work of relationships. There is negotiating that's happening, and all types of relationship too. Like I feel like that's like, even when you think of, you know, relationships with family, when you think of relationship with siblings, like there's negotiation that's happening naturally, right? And so I think my question to you is, what feels different in the sense of negotiating, especially if you're like, yo, everything else is really good, but this part right here, I don't really know.
It's crazy you asked that. I want you to see this right here so you know I'm not capping. I was just talking to my brother, and he used a quote that I use. You see it right there. I don't do things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like, that's my whole mindset right now. Because I was sacrificing my time because, like I said, that's something somebody else wanted to do. But in a relationship, you can't just be solely on your own time.
Absolutely.
At all. It's a contractual obligation. But it's also a contractual obligation to myself that I don't want to do. Like I told you, I might be unorthodox. I am so selfish right now. And I don't think you can help other people until you're right. And I think operating in a space of doing that is more dangerous than anything. Like I said, I got to put my mask on first. A lot of times we trauma jump from relationship to relationship to relationship. So can I communicate on one space? Maybe it's a different type of space that I need. But the space I need right now with myself is putting this gas mask on instead of just bringing that energy, and not a toxic energy, but things that haven't worked consistently into this next thing. I think I was doing that for a long time, just jumping and realizing, hey man, maybe this play don't work because it ain't never got us no points. You know what I mean? So
I would even say it's like, it's okay to, and I feel like for me, it's like, I think we have to give ourselves grace in the sense where we say like, we just don't want a relationship right now. You know what I mean? And I think it's okay. Like, it's okay to say like, I don't want to be in a romantic relationship right now. I think it's also okay to communicate that, you know what I mean? And still find ways to have those connections that, you know, you and that other person get to define with each other. And you all, and I think what does feel important is like checking in frequently, because now I think that allows for, you know, just like to make sure we're on the same page, especially when, you know, arguments are coming up or things that's like, this is a reoccurring thing that's coming up. let's actually just take a moment to pause and like check in to see like, all right, what's happening right now, and how do we want to move through this, or do we want to even continue to move through this? You know,
When you deeply are a genuine person, you genuinely move in love, prosperity, you believe in experiences, it's always an expiration date on those relationships. And it hates to say, like, yeah, we can communicate as much as we want to that we don't want this relationship. But we're going on dates. I'm doing all the things that you like to do. We're compromising. We're holding hands. You want me to come to the family event? I even know that your favorite thing to eat is this. I brought it home for you, babe. But I don't want a relationship. So at some certain point, it gets to the feeling where it's like we're doing all the relationship things. And it comes down to chemically, one person cracks. One person cracks like, nah, this is my person. And I don't care what they say. They can say they want to be we in a relationship. Because if I see them with somebody else, it's up. Right? That comes down to an expiration date. Every time. If you moving genuinely, because I know you had your boys be like, yo, man, he out here doing mad relationship stuff with her, talk about he don't really like her. And we like it too. Yeah, let's get some apple cider donuts and ice cream. Let's go upstate this weekend. Let's go apple picking. Like, got you doing things you never did before. Like, oh, these is Fuji apples? You don't know nothing about that, but you did your research to impress her. And then when it finally comes down to it in this genuine moment, oh, he got these Fuji apples for me. Yeah, I'm going to go home. You know, it was a great time hanging out with you this weekend. Let's do it another time. And then we get surprised when they say,
I want something more.
Wow, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, but even within that though, I'm like,
It's going to happen.
Well, no, I don't think it's going to happen.
The expiration date is going to happen every time. If you move like that, the expiration date will always happen. There's an expiration date.
But I feel like that, I would say like from even when I think of my own self, right? Like I have to take accountability and be like, bro, you was doing some relationship shit, you know? And so I do think that that's like important to take accountability for that.
Were you doing relationship shit or were you being a genuinely good guy?
I think you could be a good guy, but also, and I think I think the part of it as well, right? Is like if I say that I don't want a relationship, and we define the terms of like how we are connecting with each other, you know, whatever it is, there has to be certain boundaries that we put within our, like we have to have boundaries, because if we don't have boundaries, then it's just gonna be happening. And you're like, oh. So I guess what I'm saying is like there has to be boundaries that both parties have a chance to bring in to ensure that like everyone is moving in a way that like doesn't allow for the other person to be like, oh, you know what I mean? So, you know, if you like, oh, I want to take you upstate, you know, that person be like, nah, I'm good. We ain't on that, you know? And then it's like, okay, respect. And then you pivot, you know, but versus
But
like,
you want that.
No, I mean, what I would say is that I feel like in the dynamic of getting to know people, but not wanting anything long-term, having conversations about what we want, and then also us understanding each other's boundaries, I think helps us avoid getting into spaces where now, you know, we're enjoying it and no boundaries. And then it's like, oh, but I want something more. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. You know what I mean? But if those boundaries were in place and we had space for both folks to share their boundaries, then we would be able to move through in a way where it's like, oh, actually, nah, this is something I actually prefer to do with someone who wants the relationship. You know what I mean? So you get what I'm saying though?
No, I understand completely. Like I go into situations now, like, and the first words is, hey, I'm just here to waste your time. Because that's what it essentially is.
Yeah.
What if we took all the semantics off, took all the extra willy-nilly in the tech? Hey, babe, I just want to waste your time. And you look like somebody that I would love to waste time with. I love everything about you to waste your time. Because that's what we really are doing. This is just me and you talking. Of course, you know, this is going out. We know this. And no matter how cool or educated or deep we trying to see, we're no better than the dude that's just trying to be a player, because we're also afraid to put this wrapped up. Yes, we are doing self-work, but at the end of the day, are we doing self-work that's hurting other people? Because every single time it has an expiration date. It always ends. You took the words out of my mouth. maybe we just feel like we're good guys and we're doing it differently.
So something that's coming up, do you feel like it's companionship that you're looking for versus a relationship?
Explain to me, what's the separation?
So I feel like relationship is like there's an intentional like, all right, I want to cultivate romantic relationship in particular. Because I feel like companionship is actually it can be in different type of dynamics, right? But like when I think of romantic relationship, I think of like, all right, we are intentionally moving together to cultivate a space of love, to grow together, to like build something together, essentially. Versus companionship, where it's just like I just enjoy spending time with you. I enjoy doing things with you, but we don't have a very intentional thing or a long-term goal. It's just like I just want someone I could do things with and like vibe with and like whatever. But in regards to anything else long-term, not necessarily looking for that.
I can say what I say here and next week get married. No, for real. I'm constantly contradicting myself. I'm in constant growth. I know more. Like I said, I just asked, what's the difference? What's Palo Santo? Now when somebody says it, I know.
So that's my definition too. So everyone have a different definition.
Yeah.
But when I think of like companionship versus like romantic relationship, intentionally dating, that's how I separate the two.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, now I know more about the topic I'm about to speak on than I knew before my original thought. So I'm going to always constantly contradict myself. So I could say companionship. Me personally, what I've been saying to myself is I'm just looking for new experiences and having someone experience those things with me. But I feel like that's just a cop-out. I think it's okay with being, not to say unintentional, but I think it's okay to not know what the hell you want. And when it hits you, it hits you. You know, I've known people that dated for years and they're still not even engaged or anything like that. My uncle went to the club one night, came with a different woman. My aunt came with a different man. They met in the club and got married 30 days later. This is their 30th year of marriage. So I think it's okay sometimes to not be intentional. Who knows? You might meet the love of your life tomorrow and you was just like, hey, I'm not ready for that capacity, but I don't want to lose you.
That's true.
That's when it comes down to, I think that's what love is to me. When I was in love and I always said I didn't have the capacity, I've been using that line for 15 years now. And it came down to this. I was sharing a companionship with someone for such a period of time, growing with them, meeting family, making love, finding out all the things that you genuinely care about. And it came a point in time where the stakes were so high and it had to end. But before it ended, I felt this feeling. And the feeling was, I don't think I want to do these experiences by myself anymore. I don't think it's as fun without this person. No matter what I would say about capacity. And I didn't move intentionally at all. But intentionally, it made me stop and think that I don't want to lose this thing. So I think it's okay with not being okay with that. So that's my answer in long form fashion.
No, for sure. And I agree. I think it's like it's okay for us to be at where we're at, and also when we meet that person, we'll know, which I think is.
Can I say one more thing? Sometimes I feel like I fall in love every week.
All right, so when you say fall in love, what does that mean? What is because also tell me more what you mean when you say fall in love. What does that look like for you?
Shoot. Yo, you know what's crazy? My brother that just had to talk with me. Like I said, I'm gonna constantly contradict myself this whole conversation. Because I might not have the capacity for it, but I feel like I fall in love a lot. Like, wow, this person right here checks all the boxes for me. She looks amazing. She's genuinely smart. We care about the same things. This could work. And then I stop myself and say, I'm not ready for that. I fall in love every week.
I have a question for you. Who's to say the reason why y'all bumping is related to something romantic?
It might not be.
You know, because I think that's the other thing where I think about, right? It's like we're constantly meeting people in our lives, and you know, especially with something like that, when that happens, you know, I'm definitely like what is this about? And also in that, you know, and which I've learned is that when we try to put it in like a very particular, oh, this is a romantic thing, or this is this or that, it's like, in some ways we might limit the actual meaning of why that person is, why we're crossing paths, even if it's for temporary purposes, even if it's like, you know, a weekend thing or 1 week or 1 month or whatever. But so that was something that kind of came to my mind when you said that. Was like, who's to say that it was like something that, like, even though that attraction is there, right? Who's to say that it has to go that path?
Who knows? I don't know her at all. She could be a serial killer. I don't know her at all.
Yeah.
I know what the internet says, and I know off of these 3 5-minute interactions. Mind you, I stay at a respectful space because the thing that I really liked was how respectful of a woman she was, right? When I met her, she wasn't in a relationship, but she said, there's a guy that's really interested in me, and I think that I want to give him the opportunity to ask me to be his girl. That's the first conversation we ever had. But it was like a long form conversation about, she was like, it's just not the right time. And I know that we was both attracted to each other. I respected that so much. I respected that so much. Oh my goodness, I wish a woman did that for me. What? Even in this space right now, he's not here, he's not your boyfriend, he's not anything. You genuinely just care about his feelings and you turning me down? Oh, that's beautiful. But I'm not ever gonna approach it from a disrespectful place where I'm trying to take her from that guy. Because now it's convoluted. And now in my mind, you would do that with somebody else. It would ruin the whole thing for me. I stay from her, I try not to text her, nothing. I don't know, like I don't have the answers for these things.
Word, yeah.
But like I said, I could have all this capacity thing and all of this. But if she gave me the chance, I probably would say, freak all of that and let's get the apple cider donuts upstate. I got the capacity for it. I might have the capacity.
Yeah,
man.
for sure. I think that's a good segue into our next question, which is, what is your favorite lesson about love that you've learned from a woman, and why?
If you really wanted to do it, you would do it.
Share some more about that.
Somebody I dated used to say that all the time. And I'd give her a lot of credit for teaching me how to love again. I had to learn how to love. I thought love was one-sided in the sense of you just had to be a nice guy, do the bare minimum. She taught me love was about learning, and not learning for yourself, learning for somebody else. The things and the blessings within love are all in the conversations that you have. That thing that she's saying, she's inspired by, that place that she wants to go. When you stressing at the end of the year trying to get a Christmas gift, she told you 10 times. When you trying to figure out why she told you 10 times. And, you know, keeping a notebook, this, you know, for any guy that's dealing with any woman in life, the way that you can amaze and blow their mind is in conversation. When they're on the phone, they say these little things, write little notes down and just pull those little things out. Oh yeah, I remember you said you wanted to always go here. Oh, how'd you know I like this? Yeah. Those are the gems. So going back to your original basis of the questions, if they really wanted to do it, they would do it. And that's how you would know if you would be in love properly, because if they really wanted to do it, they would do it. The bare minimum is listening to the conversation and reversing that and just doing the things that the person already asked you for subconsciously. If they really wanted to do it, they would do it. She knows that you like selection, you like apartment life, and you talk about, oh yeah, I'm just, listen, it's Monday, I'm listening to this new selection episode. Now she gets you tickets to go into a live selection session. That would crack your head. but she didn't even know she was listening and knew that you liked that. That's something minor. That might even be a $20 ticket, even if it was a free thing. She might know, you know what? He's always talking about he likes coconut and honey candles. And you come home and you just smell it like, what's that? Oh, I got you a set of coconut and honey candles. You good for the month. You didn't have to tell her to do it. If they wanted to do it, they would do it.
So listening and like
Intentionally listening.
intentionally. So it's like intentionally listening and also having actions reflect that you are intentionally listening.
I'm a lovey guy. I love taking care of women. I'm a lovey guy. Like, as cool as I try to, not to say act or this and that, I love laying up with a woman and just talking and genuinely like finding out your interests, and we experiencing things like that. There's no better feeling than that sometimes. And I'm okay. I'm not too cool to say, girl, I genuinely care about you. Have I been too cool to say I'm in love? Oh yeah. All the time. I want to say one more thing. I know I'm getting
No. This is the podcast. This is the podcast. Yeah.
Damn. This might get me in trouble. I had to think about it first.
It's like, am I gonna say it?
I keep that one.
You say you gonna keep it?
I keep that
For
one.
sure.
I know there's certain people that watch my social media.
There's something you said about like, you know, you're a lovey guy. Where did you learn how to love?
From being bad at it. From being bad at it. Like, I don't think you learn how to love because how somebody else loves might not work for you. I learned from mistakes. I learned from losing a love of my life before. You know, at the time. You know, the love of my life.
Because I'm like, it changes, you know.
Yeah.
Would you know? You said at the time.
I dodged my first divorce. Statistically, it's Googleable.
Pretty funny for that, man.
Statistically, it's Googleable. How did I learn to love?
Yeah.
I still don't think I know how to love. I think I know how to make mistakes and make up for it. I don't know how to love. Like, I make constant mistakes with relationships, with how to love. And I'd be like, maybe I shouldn't do that again. Maybe I'd do it like this. I think that's how you learn, falling down. Like in anything. I'm writing the notes down because you're telling me how to love you. That person tells you how to love them. It's different for every single person. You know, like, I'm definitely like a physical touch type of person for others. I sometimes didn't like people touching me. Like when I'm sleeping, I used to have a shorty that would like rub on me while I'm asleep. And it would irk me because like you touch me if I'm asleep, I'm like, huh? What's going on?
Yeah.
But she would like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just, rubbing your back. I just wanted to touch. That's her love language. But how to love me is let me get my sleep. So how you love isn't no clear generalization answer that I can give. You love everybody differently, and they'll tell you how to love them from your mistakes that you make. Because then after that, I used to be like, why you ain't touch me no more? You told me don't touch. I said, don't touch me while I'm sleeping. And then we had that understanding. So when you ask me how to love, there's no general answer. You learn everybody differently, and they'll tell you how to love them.
So it sounds like for you, learning to love is just by communication, and in the sense of just kind of like learning from error. It sounds like
Just gotta try it. That ain't work. That worked. And you learned over time. I'm sure it's the same for you. Yeah, like sometimes we want to be, grandiose and do the big thing and this, And she's like, I don't like big birthdays. And now you look stupid, but I bet you never do another big birthday again.
Yeah. You know, it's like, I feel like for me, it's, so the lesson, one of my homies, she said something, and she was like, just being like the importance of being curious, you know, because it's like, of course we can like learn from error, but then it's also like it's like the proactive effort of saying like, how can I love you? How do I love you? And, you know, being able to receive that and also have an honest conversation about like, what can I do versus what I can't do, what I don't have the tools for just yet. And I feel like that has actually been like the way. I feel like even in all my relationships, the way in which I like express love is actually just like, how can I support you? You know, because I feel like that tells me like I have all the information. Like how tell me how, and I will let you know if I can do it or if I can't. But just asking, because I feel like I don't know, you know, and like I feel like I'm aware of a lot of stuff, but that's something that is like, you're right? Like we have to, it's something that we learn, and also part of that learning is like the genuine curiosity to learn how to do it, to show that person that, you know, they're important to you and that you want to cultivate something with them. So yeah, that's what I would say is like just the curiosity. And also I think the part of it too is like knowing how we want to be loved, you know. And I know that something that you shared was like, you've been on this journey of, you know, really focusing on self. And we would love to hear just like, what have you, you know, on your journey of love, what have you learned that you want in, you know, what have you learned about the way in which you want to be loved by others? And this is not limited to just like romantic relationships. This is loved by others, by everybody.
Okay. I was about to say, I don't know if I'm on a journey to love. I'm on a journey of loving myself.
Yeah.
But can you ask me that one more time?
Yeah. So when thinking about like your journey of loving yourself, right? And what you've learned on that journey, what have you learned about yourself in regards to what you need from others to love you?
What I need from others to love me.
To feel loved by others.
To feel loved by others. You know why that's such a good question for me? Because it goes back to the thing that you said prior. I think love is showing up. I think love is support. I think love is understanding, right? I think I've poured so much into others. Yo, you got this, you got a podcast, you got a photo shoot, you got something's going on with your family, you need help with this, your car is this and this. I think I've lent myself so much. That's why I keep using that same analogy about putting your mask on first. I've given everybody else my air. I want people to show up for me like I've shown up for them. That's how you love me. Like, and I do think, you know, my one of my mans told me, yo, you're obsessed with credit. I'm not obsessed with credit. It's more of, and I'm not trying to even keep tabs. My aunt taught me that a long time ago. If you're gonna do something, do it because you genuinely wanted to. It's more of, I just want people to love me like how I love them. Like how my friends, when they make music, I'm their biggest fan. I listen to my friends' music more than I listen to genuine music out here. My notes is just my friends' songs that they never released. I listen to that every day on the train. I know their records more than they do. And I'll call them when, you know, or even if it's, you know, my homegirl who failed the bar a few times. We gotta get back on that horse. What are you doing intentionally? Like, but what about when I'm down? Because with every peak, there's gonna be a valley.
Absolutely.
Every new level is a devil. But who's there for you when you're in your valley? Because you pulling everybody else out.
Yeah.
That's what love is to me. And sometimes I genuinely think, outside of the love and love that I get from my family and my mother and my aunt, and I don't know. I think sometimes I'm not loved properly. I did have somebody that did show me that they were close to it, and I never felt that before. But yeah, I think maybe that's what I'm missing. Like, I want somebody to show up for me like I show up for them. When I host them, I take care of them. Like, I don't know. I just haven't felt it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, the person that you think has it all together and all, sometimes they need help too. Sometimes I want you to show up for me like I showed up for you 50 times. And I don't want no credit. It's not about the credit. It's just being thought about.
Yeah. 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 I appreciate you sharing that.
You feel the same?
Yeah, because I think that's something that I think about a lot. Like for me, the work that I do, the ways in which I I give a lot. I give a lot. I give a lot of love. I give a lot of care. I give a lot of I hold a lot of space for a lot of people in my life. And I feel like over the time, I've learned to also allow for people to show up for me. And I think that the thing that felt weird for me was asking people to show up because I'm like, you should already know to show up. You know what I mean? But I'm like, because it's the fear of like, oh, what if I ask them to show up for me and they can or they don't? But I always show up for them, and now I'm gonna have this like weird energy, and it's gonna be like that's gonna mess up my relationship with them. And so it's like I'd rather just not ask at all, so that I don't have to deal with that disappointment. And I think that by me avoiding the disappointment, it also did not allow for me to be loved, And so then it becomes this thing of like learning that a part of being loved and loving others is knowing that others will disappoint you and you would disappoint them. And, it's like, I think that part of it is like being able to be more familiar with the feeling of disappointment, because if it's something new, it's harder to navigate. And that's why I think like, as like, us as men, right? Like, I think that the more emotions that we can feel and become more familiar with, it allows for us to just become more emotionally intelligent. Because like, when you like when I'm because I'm getting more familiar with the feeling of disappointment, I'm not avoiding it. I'm okay if disappointment happens because I'm like, all right, I know this sucks. Okay, this doesn't feel good, but I'm not moving around, or I'm not doing certain things because I fear I'm gonna be disappointed by the end of it. So I think that for me has been what has just allowed for me to allow for people to show up and just ask for it. And then you see like, oh snap, wow, it feels so good. Like, something for me that was like, like I shared earlier that I love bringing people together, and, showing up, for me is like just pull up, or, engage, and, or just let me know that you see me, and that you care. And, for my birthday, man, I had like, it was like a little last minute, and I was so surprised by how many people pulled up on me. And I was just like, wow, I was overwhelmed. But, kind of thinking about the younger version of me who was like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, no one's going to show up. It's like, we are worthy of people showing up for us, and people will show up for us. And, even if they don't, we have the tools to move through the disappointment in a way that can allow for grace for that person, while also allowing the same grace for us when we might disappoint others as well. So I think that's the other part too, right? Where it's like, because I show up for so many people, it's this thing of like, I don't want to disappoint others. But I know, like, I'm like, do I actually have the capacity to do this? And I'm like, I'm trying to do this, 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 I'm trying to do this. And now I'm like tired as hell when I actually probably just overcommitted. And I could have just been like, you know what? Sorry, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. And by doing that, yeah, folks might have been disappointed. But at the same time, I was realistic about my capacity and I didn't force it. And then you know, when other people do it, right, and they're honoring their capacity, I'm not like, well, you know, I deprioritize my capacity. Why can't you deprioritize your, you know, it's like, so it's like over time, I feel like just that awareness has allowed for me to just understand different relationships, but also in the sense of like, okay, all right, like, cause now it's to the point where I'm like, I ask like, do you have the capacity for this? You know, and now for me, what like people loving me is if they ask me, do I have the capacity for this? When I have friendships, all types of relationships, yo, do you have the capacity for this? Because now I'm like, oh, wait a minute, do I have the capacity for this? You know, and like that to me is how I like one of the ways in which people have loved me, but now I also love others because I just know like, you know, sometimes when you care about people, man, it's easy to just want to do so much for them. And sometimes we don't be having the capacity, and that's okay. So that's been my experience with that.
You know, you did say something right there that maybe like put me back a second. People are all living their own lives and juggling their own things that we might not even be privy to. Mm-hmm. So it is a little selfish sometimes to feel a type of way about it, but it's also saying to yourself, everybody's not going to move like how you move.
Yeah.
And being okay with that. Mm-hmm. And they might not have the capacity mentally. They might be going through struggles you don't know. They're all perplexly living in their own microcosms of life that are moving, and we're all just trying to figure out how to keep it going. Mm-hmm. And be okay with that. So, you know what? I might have to extend a little more grace, but I've just been in that place, like I said, I don't even want to do things that I don't want to do anymore. Mm-hmm. I've given so much. I really like that question. That was a good question.
Yeah.
Love is support for me right now.
I had a question for you though, like a follow-up question. Do you feel like you how does it feel for you to ask people to show up for you?
It goes off of what you said. Like, I would expect people to just show up. Like, and is that selfish of me to feel that I always show up for others and they should just show up? Why should I have to ask? Not even ask, borderline feel like you begging. It gets to that point sometimes where I've taken myself out of it. The people that are there are the people that love me genuinely. I don't care if the room is not full. If it was one person, I'm going to give the same energy to them as if I would have gave it to a room of 50. Whoever shows up, shows up. Because I just can't show up for everybody else anymore. But whoever shows up and comes, we'll share that space together and be cool. And I'll extend grace to others. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Whoever shows up, I'm fine with that. I forgot who told me that. Because I used to do all these big birthdays and do all that. And then when it was real things or things that weren't beneficial for others, there wasn't no support. But there's these people that show up every time for you, right? Every time, no matter what. Come set up the cameras, there's no benefits, you're probably not getting paid for it, right? But she shows up every time. That's love. That's worth more than the 10 people that are just coming because you're going to have free liquor and food there. And, oh, yo, his party going to be lit. He going to have the bottles there. She's just coming genuinely because he makes me feel good. I love being around him. I love seeing this person grow with me. I'd rather have one of those than 15 of people that, you know, we keep speaking about space. They're just taking up space. And it goes back to what's for me was for me and will find me. Yeah, I'd rather have one of those than 10 of those in the room. And we get obsessed with the outside looking like, oh, my party was lit. What if it was just you and that one person? You would feel like it was an unsuccessful party?
No.
You would. I mean, you said you feel like, oh, I was overwhelmed with people showing up. It was the feeling of the room being full. What if it was, and not trying to flip it, but what if it was just one person there that showed up? Would you have been heartbroken?
I would have been disappointed. And also, I think that in that, my frame of think would have been like, oh, well, technically it was like I would have made space for like the areas of like time to invite people, like, you know, there's like a lot of different things that I was like, oh, I could have done better with that, and that contributed to, you know, the fact that maybe some people weren't able to show up. Versus like, oh, people didn't show up for me because they don't care, you know. So I think that in my mind, I would have like, I would be like, oh, these are things that probably, if these are things that did not help having more people present in the space. Something something I want to go back to though, because I think you're saying something. You said something that I want to. It's like having people who show up for you. I think a part of it is like asking. You know, like, yes, some people will be able to see it over time as they get to know you, but a big part of this is actually saying like, hey, I need you to support me in this way. Can you? And like maybe they like, I can't, right? But because you know something you said, well, I would love to hear more about. Is like, you know, you mentioned when asking for people to show up for you, and I want to, maybe it's a clarifying question. Do you feel like it feels like in a way that it's like begging, or in what ways does it create this sense of begging when asking for people to show up for you?
It's not that it feels like begging. It feels like our yin and yang is off. It's just yanging, and the yanging is me, and there's no yin going back. It's just a one-sided relationship. Like, you know, when I really genuinely felt love and I knew somebody was my real friend in our big age, not just because we like playing 2K and Call of Duty together. I realized this person was genuinely my friend, not because of what comes with being my friend. I was moving into a home. This home was tore up. And I couldn't handle it all by myself. Me and my sister at this time, we were moving into this home, and we had a certain window of time that we had to be able to refurbish this home. We had to pull up carpets. The carpets had like dead mice in them. Like, it was a crazy job to even ask someone. Before I could even ask this person, they asked to come help for weeks, and showed up and brought things and never asked for anything ever in life. And this is not a friend that comes to party with me. This is not a friend that we talk to every day. This is a friend that any time in life when things get hard, he's always there. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes I focus on other friends that weren't. Just, they were fun to be around, or we're getting lit together. And this friend might have been going through a hard time. And I had to separate that and realize, like, how you interact with others might be different. He might not be the party friend, or might not be all the way there, but in moments of uncertainty, that person has always showed up for you. That person genuine. That's what genuine love is. Maybe, like I said, for weeks, he helped me lift a freaking organ out of my house. The organ might have been like 375 pounds. We found washing machine. He lifted washing machines to my house. And this was all in just a couple week period. He showed up every day. And when the house was fully built, brand new, everything, my house is fly. He didn't ask for nothing. He don't come by every day. Nothing. And now, even having this conversation, it makes me realize our yin and yang is off. Because now he's going through a hard time, and I haven't been as supportive as I should be. So it brings me to this understanding: is it because it's out of sight and out of mind? Maybe it's not I'm not intentionally trying to hurt this person. Maybe just now into this moment when I sat down and reflected, I didn't even realize. Oh shoot, I should actually be supporting this person a lot more. It could be unintentionality. It's not to hurt you at all. It's out of sight, out of mind. I'm living my life. Oh wow, I didn't realize this person, I'm not supporting them like they've supported me. Okay.
some reflection happening.
Very much so. Very much so. Never ask us for a thing. We'll show up every time. That's what true love is. Just to circle it all together. When you add up everything at the end of the day and you realize, oh wait, this person showed up every time.
Yeah.
Never asked for nothing.
Yeah.
Even in hard times when they didn't have it, still made it happen.
Yeah.
That's how you love.
Yeah. 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 You know, it's like I don't know, it just what I keep thinking about is like we're constantly like evolving and learning, and you know, like the relationships that we, you know, like the relationships and the people, I would say, that pour into us. And you know, it's like sending that gratitude and appreciation, and also even reflecting on like how can I support them, you know. And it's the invitation. It's always the invitation. And you know, I know I'm happy this space creates some time for you to also like, you know, sit with that and sit with that. I think the thing that I'm like sitting with though is the because it's come up like a couple of times. It's come up like a couple of times about like just wanting to be around people who just know, you know, and not having to ask explicitly like, I need your help, or can you help me, you know? Because in some ways it's like you see me, you see me, you are seeing me, and something I want to ask you was like, what are the signs to your loved ones that's like, yo, Alex can use my support right now? Because I think that that's something also that like, I don't even know. Like, I feel like people who are in closer proximity to me probably can know those signs, but I don't know if everyone knows those signs. And I think that that's the thing that can sometimes, when people know like, oh snap, like I noticed that this, you know, this person is doing this person is doing this person is doing this is a sign where I actually need to ask them like, yo, what's going on, you know? So I would love to hear like if you like what your thoughts are about like what are the signs that your loved ones can see like he could use some support right now.
Now, see, this is a different conversation because we was talking about friends prior. Mm-hmm. My loved ones is different, and this is what I was saying before. I don't have to tell my loved ones anything. My loved ones constantly support. I have a village around me that's always been around me that made me to the person that I am today. I still, you know, maybe it's not the coolest thing to say. I still go to the doctor with my mom.
Yeah.
In my big old age, like we go to the doctor together, like, and not that I'm afraid. I'm just used to that.
Yeah.
You know, like, and she'll be on top of me. Like, I live in a community where my house is only 5 blocks away from my aunt's house, 5 blocks away from my grandma's house, 7 blocks away from my mom's house. I walk past all their houses every day as I go to the gym. I talk to them every day. Even, you know, my cousin Jennifer, they'll see me doing things and I don't have to ask them. I created, you know, a little clothing line with hats a few years ago. Before I could even put them on the market, they bought a few. I threw a Juneteenth event. Before I could go and buy and rent chairs, my aunt pulled up with 100 chairs, tins, brought food. My lights went out in my house, and you know, at the time I'm not the best handyman or anything like that. Like, I'm learning through mistakes of learning how to be handy. My uncle showed up and turned it on for me and turned it off so I could learn how to do it myself. Taught me how to drain my boiler. Before I ever had to ask, they showed up. So when those things aren't mirrored in a life where I'm showing up for others, I know what genuine love is. it's a different comparison to my loved ones.
Yeah.
And I know everybody might not have that. I'm so grateful in life to have the people that raised me around me. They made me into the person that I am. They showed up every time. So when people don't show up for me, it's okay. Because 9 times out of 10, my loved ones will be there already, showing up with all the support. No matter what state I'm in. No matter what state I'm in. My grandma calls me like 3 times a week and is like, just wants to know what I'm doing so she could support it. I'm always doing something. That's why I say I feel like love is support. Because in my family life is there. And is that just genuinely because you came from them? But in this life where I'm trying to love other people like I'm being loved in my family life and making them my outer family, I don't have that same support.
The thing I was thinking about, and I wanna like hear more about just like, because it sounds like family has influenced how you view love in so many different ways.
1000%.
And something that, I was curious. Well, I guess the thing I was thinking about was like our family has the history of us, so they know they know. It's like it's just certain things that family just know that our friends are learning. That they, or at least when I think about within my like friendships and my family, right? It's like is that my family they know the good, the bad, the indifferent, and everything in between all of that. Versus like friendships where it's like, they might know different versions of me, but they're still like a lot more learning. And our family, I feel like our family is always learning us as well because we're constantly evolving. And so in those moments where we, family might have the history and our friends might not have the history, it's like, what do we do with that? How do we bring our friends along in a way to say like, this is, we might not known each other for this long, but this is actually the ways in which I feel supported and loved by like people close to me. So that was just something and it made me think about that. Just like the history that our family has versus like our friends might not always have that amount of history. What are your thoughts about that? Do you feel like that changes anything for you? You feel like it's still just like
I think we're too generous with the word friend. I don't think that they're friends yet. They don't know. History is just his story. So they just don't know your story. History is just his story. So I just don't think that they're friends yet. They're acquaintances and we're building. We have genuine connection. We go to things together. But you don't know my story yet. That's the main thing that I'm walking. And there's no problem in that. We can still have the same interactions like friends, but we're not friends yet. We got to stop giving people the word friends. You know how hard it is to be a friend? I can't be everybody's friend. You know how hard it is to be somebody's friend?
Oh, I know about friendship.
But that's the thing. A lot of people, even myself, I used to call people friends just because we hung out 2 times. Oh, that's my man. That's my friend. It's not your friend. It's somebody you've had genuine connections with and you're building something. But friendship needs to go through trials and tribulations. You need to have about 2 arguments, 2 fights. Got to tell them their food nasty. But genuine interaction.
Yeah.
Being able to communicate with each other. Like you said, is it because they don't know his story or his story? They just don't know you yet. You can't know me and then say that you're my friend. That's, like I said, and with the podcast, then I feel like some people speak as that's the thing and this is definite. That's my personal feeling.
No, for sure. Yeah. I think that, I guess what I'm more so getting to is like, do you tell people your story for them to know? Do you tell, like, and I think that's the piece, right? It's like, of course, over time, but it's like, do you tell people the things that they need to know to understand you? Or is it more of like, over time, They'll figure it out.
That's what I tell people.
Cause like I hear you, right? It's like, but I'm like, if they don't understand your story, then like, how they gonna learn it if you don't tell them? You know, over time they can learn it, but they only will learn as much as we show. So unless we explicitly say like, hey y'all, this is my story, just so you know what's up. Now they have the full context to be able to. But if it's like bit by bit, piece by piece, it's like we're only going to be operating. The people who we are in close proximity will only be operating from a limited perspective, in which and by them operating from that limited perspective, now they're showing up in a way that might not be their full capacity, but it's based off of what they have like what information they have access to based off of the time frame in which we've engaged with each other.
I don't think I'm even looking for friends. I think I'm just looking for experiences and genuine people around me. I got enough friends at this point. And it sounds bad. It feels like I'm blocking, but it takes so long to develop a friend. I got the same friends I had since I was 13 years old. And they're the only people that have stayed consistent in friendships. I've had relationships with others that, we were really cool for a year or two. And it starts to dwindle out. Like even in college, I'll take that back. College, I got some lifelong actual friends.
Yeah.
Said that, I'll change that statement. College, you actually live with those people. But I got a lot of friends. I am seeking new relationships. I am going to events to garner new feelings and experiences. But I ain't in search of new friends. If it happens, it happens. It takes a lot to really galvanize a friend. And we need to negate just calling everyone a friend because we hung out with them at a bar 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Did they come and help you out and help you push you through when your mom was sick? No, but they'll go to a party with you. That's somebody that you have fun with.
Well, I think this is a good time to transition to our lovely next segment, which is called Dropping Gems. So in this lovely bowl right here, y'all, we have different types of love. So we have friendship love, we have self-love, we have romantic love, we have spiritual love. I think I said family love, all types of love. And so pretty much we're going to randomly pick the type of love that we'll be discussing. And we're going to share our favorite gem about that love. And then either why is it our favorite gem or how did we learn that particular gem? All right. And so, as I mentioned, this is a jingle to this as well. We got a few jingles, man. And so so we dropping what? Dropping gems, we dropping what? Dropping gems, we dropping what? We dropping gems, we dropping what? We dropping gems, we dropping what? Dropping gems. All right, I don't know what that sound was, but you just gotta because I don't have no like I gotta add the extra.
Go crazy.
So here we go.
I didn't want to interrupt. I would have hit the beatbox.
Oh no, man, for sure. Let's see. All right, what we got today? Romantic love. I feel like we've talked a lot about romantic love. Yeah. So I'm actually just like
throw the dice back.
Put that back. You know what I mean? Put that back, man. Put that back, man. I think we've talked about that a lot. Let's see what we got here. Okay. All right, we can do this one.
Okay. We talked about that a lot too, though.
I guess we did talk about that a lot. You're right. We talked about it a lot. All right, let's see. This third one got to be it, though, y'all. This third one got to be it. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Spiritual love.
Okay.
All right. Spiritual love is the one that we'll be focusing on today, y'all. So, so when you think about spiritual love, what's your favorite gym, and why or how did you learn that gym?
Spiritual love in the sense of religion.
It could be religion. It doesn't have to be limited to religion though. It's more of like when you, whatever you heard when you heard spiritual love, the first thing that came to mind, without putting any type of, you know, I would say that's what I would invite you to lean into.
When I hear spiritual love, it automatically make me think of God. And I think for me, I think a line or a gem that I always say is, "Church is in the house." Yeah, church is in the house. You know, church isn't a place that you go to. I honestly haven't gone to church consistently in years, but I'll talk to God in my house, and I could do better with that. But I do think church is in the home, and your blessings come from your home. You don't have to go out and seek it. It's right there for you if you want to look for it.
Could you share some more about just like, why is that your favorite gym, or even how did you learn like this, like the gym about like that church is in your home?
Why is it my favorite gym? I wouldn't say it's my favorite gym. It's the gym that comes to my mind.
Okay.
But I realized it because, I grew up going to church, and I think a lot of people in this generation started taking steps back from it. But I didn't take a step back from my relationship with God. I think anything I'm blessed with in life is due to God being in my life. I do think God's still working on me.
Yeah.
But
Amen. Working on all of us, all right? Working on us. All right.
He's still working on me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, anything that has ever come through in my life, I remember my washing machine broke. I talked to God about it. I lie to you not. A washing machine appeared in front of me as I'm walking down the street, not too far from my house. I ain't have a vacuum cleaner one time. Went to sleep, talked to God about it. A vacuum cleaner was outside my house. I can't make this up.
Yeah.
I wish I could call my man right now.
Yeah.
I can't make this up. And it was in moments where I needed it. I was refurbishing that house. So our funds are like depleted. Every time I've ever needed something, not wanted, needed, it showed up for me in life. God has showed up for me every time. I can't say it's anything else but God. And I don't go to church. And church is in the home. I know I might get some flack for that, but I do think church is a great place to realignment. I think church is a great place to learn and have understanding. I do think church can also be a social club where it's like, let's go hang out and meet like-minded people. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Church could also be a place where we got a lot of haters.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. They ain't worried about the message. They worried about Sister Bertha's shoes. You see she always wearing them leaned over shoes and worry about the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Church is in home. It starts there.
How have you, because I know you mentioned like the prayer, right? Praying. What are other things that you have done or that you do to create that space in home?
I think spiritual also is within yourself. That's what it means to me. Ways that I create is similar to what you do. I'm lighting candles. I'm constantly keeping my space clear.
Yeah.
Clutter ruins my vibe, my spirit.
Yeah.
And music is a big part of that. I listen to a lot of Selection, Joe K playlists with a candle lit, some red wine, and I don't know if that's spiritual, but it's spiritual for me in terms of like setting me back to myself. It seemed like we got a similar vibe, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like the spiritual practices have definitely, it's evolved, like I have been here for about 6 years and I haven't found like a new church, but I do like to, lean and like go to church when I'm back at the crib. But then also I like to also, check out sermons virtually as well. So that's like, but not as consistent. Not as consistent. I think that, but one of the things that I do often is I pray every day. That's like the practice that is important. I pray before new things. I pray before I eat. So just like always bringing God into the space, and God is already here regardless. I don't have to bring God into space. God is here, but also just like very intentional about just like talking to God. And the spiritual practices of just like, thinking about how do I want to ground myself? What do I do to nourish myself? What do I do to feel connected to others? Because I also think that for me, when I think of like spirituality, I think of it's not only about connecting to myself, but it's also like my ability to connect to others. And others are animals, it's people, it's energy, it's vibes. And so being able to do things that allow for me to connect in that way, because I also feel like that's the ways in which I learn, So I think, learning from others is also, part of it is like being aware, seeing them to do, something I love to do, y'all, which, I don't know everyone, but I love to nature watch. You know what I mean? Like I'll just go to a park with some music on and just be like, just looking at nature. And in a way it's kind of grounding because it's like a reminder that even though we are different in the way in which we physically look, there's like these similarities or even things that you just learn, like the trees. I'm like, I feel like, trees experience these different seasons, and it's like this reminder of like, oh, wow, like I can look different in this season and that's okay. And I'm gonna look different in that season and that's okay, but I'm still here, So just in all, and say like that I have the spiritual practice related to like, the religion in which I study, in which kind of I grew up in, but then also as being an adult, I feel like I've learned to other practices that just allow for me to connect with nature, allow for me to connect with myself, allow for me to connect with others that can be grounded. I mean, even the Palo Santo, the sage, those are things that, just help with the space, but also setting intentions.
I had to ask y'all about that a little bit before I get lit, cause I heard of don't be waking up no nothing over here.
Yeah, no, man, it's all good energy, good vibes.
And I couldn't take your word for it, so I had a little Google on the side.
For sure, man. So, but yeah, that's what I would say is like the spiritual practices that lead into, and the love component is just being able to know that God has a lot of creations around that we get to learn from, and we also get to love as well, So that's why I think like even animals, the nature, I'm like just love those things because I don't know, it just makes it a better world, better place when we are able to just love everything and everybody. So that is the gem for me. So as we come to a closing of a lovely, lovely conversation, man. It's not over yet, man. One more question. One more. So Bell Hooks talks about the invitation for people to return back to love. And so my question for you is, how can people return back to love?
I don't know. I'm struggling with that myself. I miss that innocence. I don't know. Anybody that has that answer, please feel free to let me know. I don't know how to return back to love. But I do think a step forward is loving yourself first. Because until you know how to take care and love yourself, I don't think you're a benefit to anyone else. I don't know. I've been struggling with getting back to love.
But you said something though, and I think that is it, right? It's like, just keep taking steps, Maybe we don't know the long-term stuff. We don't know like all the different things we need to do, but sometimes it's just actually just taking that step, and that is getting us closer to returning back to love. So I think.
What is our obsession with being in love? Can we not solely operate without being in love? Like, everything is about love. Oh, love this, love. Could we solely just operate? Or do we do everything with the intentions of eventually being in love?
And I think I appreciate you asking that, because I think the returning back to love, when I think about it, I don't necessarily think about it in limit to like a romantic, like being in love. I think about just like really the practice of prioritizing loving all the people in our lives, but also receiving that love as well. And how do we want to get closer to just like leaning into that love? So, you know, it's not necessarily about the like, oh, when I want to return back to being in love with this person. I want to, feel all the good. No, I think it's the practice of love and like, how do we commit to doing this daily? Is actually the way in which we return back to love. And it's like, how can people grow in their commitment to loving daily? And by doing that, I think it helps people return back to love. So I don't know if being in love is actually the returning back to love. I think for some people that could be returning back to a romantic love or having a partner, but I think the returning back to love is actually just, how do we just love better and love more?
Are you ready to return back to love? You ready to be with a partner?
But see, even then, returning back to love, for me, it's not about being with a partner.
But I'm saying,
in general,
are you ready to return back to love and be with a partner?
Am I ready for a partner? I would say that I am.
Take the raft out, the jersey. Just if you want to hang the raft up, if you want to pull it down, just be honest.
No. I mean, I would say for me, I don't think I'm actively looking for a relationship right now. If it comes and it makes sense, you know what I mean? But I feel like for me, when I think of like the relationships that have sustained, a part of it is like the friendship piece. And, then, at some point it evolves into something later on. But right now, and what I've learned about love, what I learned about I'm like, there's so many other things that I want to pour into on top of pouring into myself in a way where I'm getting closer. I would say I'm getting closer to wanting a partner. And I feel like, I think maybe a year, maybe a year, maybe a year. I think I'll be in a space where I am like either in or cultivating a relationship with someone. But as of now, I feel like I'm just taking in the experiences, taking in the opportunity to learn more about myself, because I do think that in a way I'm still learning about what type of partner I want and who I want to be with. And so for me, it's like, I don't want to jump in it just because it feels good or it feels comfortable or it feels familiar. I really want to take time to really sit with like, well, who do you want to be with? And what do you want that to look like? So yeah, that's me. What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no.
He said no. You're like, hey, he's like, I'm done.
Jersey in a raft. Love gotta come through and just like it gotta hit me.
Yeah.
It gotta hit me.
Yeah.
I love love. All jokes aside, I'm a very jokey person.
Yeah.
I love love. If it hits me, it hits me. If it don't, it don't. I'll keep having great experiences regardless of.
That's what I'm saying. It's like there's
you don't want to say your jersey's up there.
What you mean?
You don't want to say your jersey's up there.
When you say jersey's up there, what you mean? Elaborate what that means.
You still in the game.
In the game, and what game?
Well, your jersey's still down here. It's not up there because you retired. Then your jersey go up.
Oh, okay. Now, if that's what you mean, yes, my jersey's up. It's very high. It's high. It's shining right there.
No. You still in the game. You still on the court.
I don't know if I'm in the game, but I guess I'm in the game.
I guess you don't want to say it.
I guess I don't. I mean, I'm not in a game. I'm living. All right.
It's all a game. It's all a game.
I'm also recognizing in this moment that I have a lot of tension about the idea of saying I'm in a game, because I feel like when it's a game, it's like it's playing, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm playing.
We are playing.
I feel like I'm living.
We are playing. In the beginning of this conversation, we said, are we not just saying, hey, I want to waste your time?
But I didn't agree with that, though.
You didn't?
I didn't agree with that. I was like, I'm like, I am actively listening, like, okay, all right. But in the sense of like, for me, when I think of like engaging, I'm not moving forward if the intentions aren't in line. Like, I'm not even, I'm like very, very, very big on just like, all right, this is what we're open to. And then what boundaries do we need to uphold for ourselves to ensure that, and if it does happen, we can work through it. But I feel like, because right now, honestly, like I'm not in a space where I could be wasting time. You know what I mean? And I'm like, so I think over time, we talk like, cause I feel like we talked about, it's like, we're doing all these different things. And so we have to be more and more intentional about the people that we are giving our time to, the people that we are connecting. And so it's like, if I say like, hey, I'm just wasting your time, that also means I'm wasting my time too, So it's like, and I think that's the part where it's like, if I am intentionally making a decision to connect with someone, it's with the intention that they are not wasting my time, but I'm also not wasting their time, and I'm not wasting my time.
I just want to give context to that because the conversation originally, that was just like the premise that was put on it. We were talking about stripping down words and basically going to the basis of saying without everything.
Yes.
We went down to the basis of saying, what if you felt comfortable enough to just go and say, hey, my boundaries this, my boundaries that. Forget all of that. I just want to waste your time because you want these things and I don't. But if you're okay with me wasting your time, that's where I'm at right now. So it's not that you're wasting your time for what they want in the long run of having that expiration date. Just to bring it back in context, you're wasting their time.
In what I'm saying is that in those spaces where I know what they want long term, if that's not aligned, I'm gonna be like, well, we shouldn't even engage.
That makes sense.
Because And I feel like that's actually the thing that I've been doing more and more of, because I feel like it's, especially when you out, you're like, oh wow, you're like, wait a minute, all right, what's your intentions of like us even connecting beyond like this moment we're sharing right now? It's like, oh well, I'm trying to like, and then hopefully date. Okay, cool. Well, look, I'm glad that we got a chance to chat. You are beautiful, and also not right now.
So what do you want to just be friends? Like
Nothing.
What is your intention of going out and meeting these women?
I don't think there's any intention. There doesn't have to be any intention with. I think I'm just going out because I just enjoy going out. I just enjoy meeting people in general, right? And so it's like, if there is like energy, then it's like cool. But I also am learning that like you can go out and vibe well with someone and like that just be it. Like, it don't have to be something that sustains, because then it becomes this thing where you're like trying to sustain all these different relationships. And I'm like, I already got enough relationships I'm trying to sustain. So like, if I am going to intentionally seek to sustain it, I wanted to make sure that it's worthwhile. That's all. So, but yo, man, wow, what a conversation though, man. What a conversation. I really, really appreciate you pulling up. You know what I mean? Like, just thinking about it. Oh, you want to say something?
No.
No, I was just gonna say
I enjoyed the conversation.
No, for sure. Just thinking about like, lately this was what, a week, 2 weeks in the making, and it was just like we were able to have a conversation and like it flowed, and just appreciate you being willing to like pull up and engage in this conversation about love. And I appreciate you all, homies, for tuning in to another episode. As I mentioned, y'all, we have this lovely book right here, All About Love, New Visions by Bell Hooks. If you don't have it already, please get this book, okay? Like, it is literally changing the game. It has changed my game because I am in the game. He admitted it. Apparently I'm in the game, so this will change the game for you. You know what I mean? But seriously, y'all, like, really appreciate y'all for the time. If you please do check out, the more episodes, but follow us on the gram at the Palo Santo and Thoughts. That's on Instagram, TikTok, and also YouTube. Also, did you want to share your social?
Yeah, you can follow me at Alex King DNA, and look out for Last Train to Jamaica Station coming very soon.
Hey, well, with that being said, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a great rest of the day, evening, morning, whatever time you're looking at this episode. Much love. Peace.